Melania Trump thinks that we all have collective amnesia.
To be clear, I never had a relationship with Epstein or his accomplice, Maxwell.
Her and her very thick accent decided to gaslight all of us and pretend like the evidence isn't factual and true. So she made a weird ass statement as of a day ago on April 9th, where she basically delivered this White House statement denying any friendship or relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, and basically was trying to reject circulating claims that, all of this were lies.
The individuals lying about me are devoid of ethical standards, humility, and respect. I do not object to their ignorance, but rather, I reject their mean-spirited attempts to defame my reputation. I never been friends with Epstein. Donald and I were invited to the same parties as Epstein from time to time, since overlapping in social circles is common in New York City and Palm Beach.
Those of you who are new, my Substack is where you can find all of the videos, like the full video all in one go at the Political Pendejadas podcast tab. If you are watching on YouTube, welcome to my channel. Make sure that you subscribe and feel free to check out the Substack. The announced address followed federal authorities releasing millions of pages of documents under the Epstein files. As you recall, the Epstein Files Transparency Act was supposed to go into effect several months ago, I believe back in January, and they were extremely late. We know now that Pam Bondi had potentially something to do with blocking the release of those files. She has since been axed. Bye-bye, girl. And now we have Melania Trump trying to do crisis PR and try and tell everybody that, yeah, what you saw in the Epstein files didn't actually happen. In a 2002 email exchange with Maxwell, Trump, or Melania, dismissed that email as just casual correspondence. She denied that Epstein introduced her to Donald Trump, and she stated that she met her husband, Trump, just by pure chance at a 1998 New York City party. Now, I don't know why she thinks we're all collectively stupid, but we all have seen the photos. We've all seen letters. We've all seen the correspondence, multiple correspondence, not just that 2002 email, where they are seen at multiple different parties together. We have seen the footage and the photograph of Melania Trump with Epstein and Trump at multiple different parties. So this idea that she just casually met Trump, not through Epstein, girl, bye. Okay, so during her remarks, Melania called on Congress to hold public hearings for survivors to testify under oath, a request that Representative Robert Garcia of the House Oversight Committee immediately supported. Now, this is odd, baby girl, because not only are you married to an alleged pedophile, but you are also married to somebody who, for decades, has tried to claim that the women who have accused him of rape are liars and that they shouldn't be believed. And now all of a sudden, years later, now that the Epstein files are starting to get released en masse, now we should believe the victims? Maybe you should start with your husband. Garcia urged Chairman James Comer to schedule hearings immediately, creating pressure on the committee to secure survivors' accounts for the congressional record regarding the Epstein files. Now, what bothers me consistently about this whole situation is that we have seen all of these congressional hearings lead to absolutely nothing. What needs to start happening is that not only do these victims need to have like the full-on hearing and day in court that they deserve, but at this point, we just need to start seeing that the courts are taking this seriously. We need to start seeing that these victims are getting their day in court, essentially. So the hearings are just going to be that. Pam Bondi went through her hearing and did an abysmal job. victim blamed all day long, pretended like, Trump was not in the Epstein files. And then when he was in the Epstein files, she said she found no corruption, no evidence of any wrongdoing. So we see where these hearings, end up, and it provides absolutely no justice for the victims. And so for me, I am just kind of tired of seeing these, calling for hearings. Like, what are they going to do? Just talk. They're just going to talk. They're not going to say anything. Now, I do feel like any victims that want to be heard should absolutely be heard. But at this point, I want to start seeing people go straight to jail. Skip go, do not collect $200, like go straight to jail. Melania claimed that she never had a friendship with Epstein or Maxwell. So this was, again, in reference to her 2002 email. I'm going to be referencing a Truth Out article on this to get a little bit more of a scoop. So she said, my polite reply to Maxwell does not amount to anything more than a trivial note. That's what she's insisting. But the email's text reveals in a recent round of the Epstein files being released that it was more personal than what she is letting on. Melania asked Maxwell, addressed as G in the message, about her time in Palm Beach and relates to her that she cannot wait to go down to Palm Beach. She comments positively about Epstein's inclusion in a magazine and tells Maxwell to make contact with her in the near future. So obviously that does not sound like a person who is just like, hey girl, we met one time, it was nice to meet you. This is like a legit on conversation with somebody that you have a consistent relationship to. She said, quote, give me a call when you are back in New York. Have a great time. Love, Melania. Okay. No one writes that if they are simply just acquaintances, right? This Truth Out article says that it's unclear why she felt the need to address these theories about her. I have my own personal theories that we can get into, which have not been widespread or reported in mainstream media. And up until that speech that she just gave, it amounted to little more than just a rumor pushed by a former Epstein employee. Melania Trump is also not a large part of the Epstein saga, and for the better part of the past month, news about the Epstein files and the administration's failures to make them public has been drowned out by the president's decision to start a war with Iran. Now, here is my conspiracy theory, and it is just that, it is just a hunch. I have a feeling that there is something that is about to come out that we don't yet know about. And that is why she is trying to do this crisis PR thing, to try and legitimize herself as, not a victim and not a part of the pedophile ring that her husband is allegedly involved in. That is my current suspicion, because why the fuck else would you come out with just a random statement at the White House, no less, utilize public taxpayer time to try and gaslight the public out of thinking that you are friends, or you were friends with Ghislaine and Epstein, if something isn't going to come out? Because, girl, you were not in the news about this. Like, this was literally months ago news, right? Asked about his wife's comments, Trump himself told MS Now reporter Jacqueline Alemany that he didn't know anything about his wife's planned statement before she spoke. Girl, do we even believe that? He also said that Melania Trump didn't know Epstein before hanging up the phone on the reporter. I don't know if we should believe any of that, but I seriously doubt that Trump would be like, oh yeah, no, because not only is that like the biggest L, your wife takes up White House press time to basically say like, no, I have nothing to do with this, knowing that you are 100% in the Epstein files, is Crazy. Girl, nobody was talking about this, so like, why are you talking about it now? Also, the other thing that people are discussing is like her accent is so thick. She mispronounced several words several times.
Numerous fake images and statements about Epstein and me have been circulating on social media. I have never been legally accused or convinced of a crime.
The fact that her accent is so thick and she is married to the man who is actively deporting migrants just for having accents is crazy. It's like we're living in the Twilight Zone. This is an episode of Black Mirror for me. Like, what is happening? We're literally such a joke of a country right now. We'll see what ends up happening with this. I have a feeling that we're going to be hearing more about it.